I'm gonna see actually. We are All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Maybe, possibly. I'm just sending out one more thing here, and then we're going to get started. Great. Cool. Thank you, Crevo. All right. Hello, Vintage. Hello, Judged Kitty. Rizratry. That's right. Crevel, Judged Kitty. Yep. Joseph is here. Perfect. All right. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. We're going to let people file in for another minute or so, and then we'll dive right into it. And I'll let you guys kind of know the plan too. Ooh, I just had to remind myself that I'm going to mute any interactions like subscriptions and stuff like that, so that doesn't interrupt anything. All right, great. That should fix that then, I hope. All right, and then that'll be good. Perfect, wonderful, great. All right. Cool. How's it going, everyone? How's everyone's morning? What we're going to do today, I have a very special LOTC related guest in that of Shiftnative, or Alan, who for many years was an administrator on LOTC and kind of one of its, I'm not sure if I should say founding members, but like one of the people who was a part of the OG server back in the day, all the way up to now until he moved on. But what I'm going to do too is I'm going to turn this music down just a little bit. Great. It's very convenient that this lo-fi beat has a car blinker in its background, and that's all I can hear. But yeah, all right, cool. I think we're ready to go. Everyone, if you're here for the interview, you arrived just in time. We're gonna go ahead and get started in about a minute or so. I guess type 1 in chat if you're ready. And basically, again, the plan is it's just gonna be me and Shiftnative talking. I'm not sure that Shiftnative and I have ever talked aside from, I don't know, when can you guys think the last time you talked to an LOTC admin was? I mean, I guess it depends on the admin. But anyway, that all to say that we haven't had much interaction aside from just knowing each other. So what this will likely be is me and Shiftnative just having a conversation and me asking him a lot of questions that I have just about the server's inception and everything that he took part in, and then all the way up to what he's involved in now. And then if you guys have questions about, you know, questions for Shiftnative or about things that he did or LOTC back in the day, then feel free to leave those in here. I'll be checking chat periodically. We'll probably have a
I think the first thing I made is...
oh, great. Okay, perfect. I think the first thing that we'll probably do is just do the interview, and then we'll take questions from chat later. But yeah. All right, I think we're good. Hey, Platinum. Sisque has finally made it to a stream. I knew when Shift logged in something was going on. Nice. What's my opinion on child neglectors? They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. All right, perfect. All right, let's do it. I think we're gonna hop into it. So, without further ado, and I will unmute myself so that Shiftnative can hear me, and then I will move to this screen right here. And there we are. You are on the stream. Hello. Say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I think they should be able to. Stream, can you
Excellent.
guys hear Shiftnative checking 1 2 1 2? Pretty sure it's working. But anyway,
Good.
oh yes, yeah, okay, I guess we should start as some people are mentioning. Yeah, Shadow has bro is dripping. Looking at the plate armor. That
That's right,
this is
bud.
the first thing that I asked Shift about when he entered the call. I was like, oh wow, all right. Um, that's pretty dope. And you guys have to acknowledge also Legolas in the background.
My
Are
guy.
you? I guess it would. We could kind of expect that someone who plays on Lord of the Craft might be also interested in Lord of the Rings. I don't know if
Oh
that's also the case.
man. If I watch the films, I cry like 20 times at least. Like I'm a mess. I have to have 2 tissue boxes. I love the characters,
Oh man,
the themes. You know, it's everything Samwise says. Just makes me
right.
cry like a baby.
Yeah.
So
I just
yeah,
watched
huge
a
fan.
amazing YouTube video talking about how Samwise is the real hero of the Lord of the
Oh
Rings.
yeah. Right, right.
Could not agree more. I've only ever seen the movies once. I need to.
Ah.
Yeah.
You know what you can do now that it's really popular on YouTube. You know, people react to videos,
Mhm.
so you can watch people watch Lord of the Rings for their first time, and you get to watch Lord of the Rings in maybe an hour, and as opposed to 15.
Right. Yeah.
So it all kind of summed up.
That'd be a good way to do it. All right. Well.
Times.
Hello. Welcome in.
Thank you. It's been a long time, man.
Yes, it has been a long time, and I think we'll kind of hop into it without further ado. Softest Mallow says he is Mr. LOTC. Look, I would kind of agree. But anyway,
Warms my
let's-
heart. Warms
let-
my heart.
let's start by kind of setting the stage, I guess. So back in the olden days of 2010, 2011-ish, when
Right.
Minecraft first came out, I guess let's start with like, how did you even remember when you first heard about Minecraft and like where that interest came from?
Yeah, good question. I don't remember where I heard about the game or how I got the game, but it was still in beta, you know, so long
Mhm.
ago. And I just love the idea of building. And you know, everybody will never forget their first time they played Minecraft, you know, and creepers are going around and you're freaked out and you got a little hole in the wall
Yeah.
house, you know, and I still remember that. I think that was like, you know, such an integral part of the game is that you were scared, right?
Mm,
It was like it was a childlike kind of game, but you were
Yeah.
scared. You know, I didn't care how old you were. You did not want a creeper or a skeleton appearing behind you. You know,
Yeah.
you'd freak out. So no, I don't remember where I found the game, but I did immediately find cheat codes of some kind to where I could fly and I could have
Of
infinite
course.
blocks
Mhm.
before creative. You know, and I still have
Wow.
screenshots from my first ever build on the game, and it was a giant tree and a giant white castle. So it's funny that one of the first things I ever built in the game actually was a giant tree. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And then how did you hear about LOTC? How did you find LOTC?
Yeah, this is a cool story. So, you know, early in Minecraft's infancy, there wasn't Planet Minecraft, and
Mhm.
maybe Reddit was still kind of gaining popularity and stuff. So a lot of people who were building things in 2011 and stuff were posting them on the Minecraft forums themselves, you know? And so I grew up playing EverQuest in 1999, kind of the grandfather of MMOs.
Mhm.
And there's a city in EverQuest that was in the treetops. It was an elf city. And the first thing I did when I got Minecraft pretty much was like, I want to remake that city in Minecraft, right?
Mhm.
So I made a forum post on the Minecraft forums, and every day or so I was posting, you know, what I was adding to my build, and I would make more and more screenshots as the city was growing. And out of nowhere, somebody sent me a message on the forums, a guy named Availer, and he said, hey, we're making this Minecraft server and it's going to be role playing. We have a dwarf city, we have a human city, and we have an orc city. We really need an elf city. Can we use your city for our server? And, you know, I was like, of course, man, I would be, you know, so happy to have people running around, even if it was just 10 people running around in my map.
Yeah.
And so you know, I got to talking with them, and you know, he was from the UK, Tithus from the UK, and there was a guy called the Danger Dan, really
Mhm.
young guy. I think he was like 13 or something at the time. He was king of the humans. Tithus was king of the orcs, I was king of the elves, and Availar was kind of the middleman. He was the owner of the server at the time and the wandering wizard.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I got talking with them, and we hit it off really well. And they said, hey, well, not only should you, use your city to be the city, why don't you be the elf king, the high prince or whatever? And so, it's like, well, whatever, sure, let's do it. I didn't know how big the server was gonna get or whatever. So, so I spliced my world into their map with MC Edit back in the day. We didn't have World Edit. We had
Oh,
MC
wow.
Edit. And somehow it worked well enough, and yeah, we got to playing, and sure enough, first day of the server open, it was like 200 people logged in, and I was standing at the front gates of my city just waiting for people, and they were just flooding down the road towards me. Oh yeah, the elf city was the closest to the Cloud Temple, so there was like
Right.
50 people coming running at me, and they all want armor and money, so
Wow.
it was pretty funny. But one cool thing I want to note is that back then we didn't have monsters that dropped money or anything. So each of the kings of their settlements were given like 200k mina, and that's it. And so what we did
That's a
was
lot.
the players would go off into the world and find wood and iron and stone and whatever, and come back to us, and we would give them money for what they found. And so we would put that into like a big cash for the settlement. So basically, for the first month or so, the economy was run by us physically having to hand every player the mina. And I built a little booth at the front of my city. I stood behind the booth, and players lined up in line, in queue, like real life, 50 players long, and would trade me all their goods for mina.
Wow.
And that, yeah, if you go on the whatever the server is that has all the old maps, you can go and you can see my booth still there in Laurelin. It's pretty fun.
Well, maybe we'll take a look at near the end of the stream. I can only imagine, that opening day. I wasn't there for the opening day. I think I joined in July, so maybe about a month or two after your guys' opening day, because it was like summer of 2011, I think.
Yeah, it was May or something.
Yeah.
June.
But I could just imagine you standing there in front of the city you built, and then you're like, are there people coming? And then just like 50 incredibly lagging like square people just run jumping, sprint jumping. Or I don't even know if sprint was in the game at that point, but
I think I don't think it was. But yeah, we had to upgrade the server immediately. It was like there was just tons of people. We're like, okay, we got to bring it down, throw more RAM in the thing, bring it back up, and it was just unbelievable how many people were excited to play. So
wow,
it's really cool.
And if you don't mind me asking, how old were you at the time?
2011. How old was I? Like 21 or something?
Okay. Yeah, that I was gonna say, I'm like, people call me a grandpa on the server, and I'm only 26 because the average age. But I was like the Danger Dan, which, by the way, for any human players that are watching this right now or watch it in the future, there's a whole, I don't know how much you know about LOTC lore over the years. I mean, I always learn new stuff when I'm hopping on the wiki again. But the Danger Dan, who played Daniel Horan, I believe, is now like a saint in the human religion. This player who was 13, and then I think he started and stopped playing in Aegis, is now a saint in their religion. But anyway, I was that same age. I was like 13 years old when the server first started.
That's something that's so cool about this server, and that it's existed for so long, is that this stuff that happened a decade ago is now the ancient lore.
Yeah.
Or the realm. So players are making history.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, it's proven now, because people look back to these things that happened so long ago, and it's mythical at this point. It's been so long, it's mythical.
There are posts and things that you've made that have become a deeply ingrained part of Elven lore, or things that, Shiftnative was around for, or Prince Native,
It definitely took it to another level, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, so the server starts, you have your build and everything, and you're also, you were elevated to an administrative position in
From the
Aegis
get-go,
from the get-go.
right?
Wow.
Because
Okay.
at the get-go there was only 5 of us,
Right. Hmm.
So right out the gate we were 5 admins,
Yeah.
and Availer was the owner of the server.
I
And
remember I was
then
talking to Tithus. I interviewed Tithus last year, or
yeah,
the year before. It was for the 10-year anniversary, and Tithus was saying similarly to you that um, I think Tithus found LOTC, found like an advertisement for it, whereas it
uh,
sounds like you were messaged directly by Availer. But
right,
it's just so funny to me how poignant that it's just kind of random chance that you guys happened to be
yeah,
found and chosen back in the
right,
heyday of Minecraft here. But
yeah. It was so early on, and I think that's a large part to the server's success.
mhm.
Other than the fact that the people who were making it weren't, we were all 20 year older and stuff.
Yeah.
Not that you have a little bit of backbone in
Mhm.
terms of that. But yeah, this because the server was so new or Minecraft was so new that I think it was easier to find us. Nowadays, there's just a sea of
Yeah.
people making amazing things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the server went on, all kinds of different instances. In the first year, the server saw so much change.
Mm.
We added the MCMMO. We made it to where mobs would drop mina and stuff. During MCMMO, you could level up your swords. It was like RuneScape. You would level up
Yeah.
how good you were at using swords, and so people would make mob spawner dungeons and just sit down
I
there
remember.
and just
And you're like,
just
this is not
grab
how
a
this is supposed to work.
they
Oh,
were just
yeah.
whacking stuff with a sword,
Yeah.
and leveling up. And so we were like, this is too much like a RPG. They're not role playing as much.
Right.
Something I do want to touch on with the start of the server, I think that was really cool, and it was kind of this like era of blending, right? Because people were still so new to role playing
Hmm.
that oftentimes, your desires and your character desires were probably the same, especially in Aegis, the first map.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and people would metagame and it was fine. You
Yeah.
would see somebody's like with the Minecraft name, for example. People would say, "Oh, blah blah blah, Minecraft name is a bandit. Watch out for him." And people would be like, "Okay," and that's that. And it wasn't until it was going on and deeper into the RP did people start to say, "Well, no, you don't know who I am. I have a mask on. You don't
Mhm.
know my RP name. Blah blah blah." And all these little intricacies started to slip in, and then it got exciting, if you know what I mean.
Mhm. Well,
From a moderation standpoint, I mean.
yes. Oh yeah, no, I remember that whole thing. You can touch on that if you want. I mean, that's old news at this point, but I was gonna ask, one of the questions that I want to lead into. I mean, there's everything from Aegis and Azulon and Anthos, and then I don't remember necessarily the last map that you were like heavily involved in, but we'll
Yeah,
get to that.
Athera would be
Okay,
the last one.
that
Yeah,
was number 4, I think, or the
I think
fourth
so.
big A map.
Yeah.
Um, Regardless, so I guess there are two main things that are, that I want to kind of ask you about and hear what you have to say. And one of them is like any poignant or enjoyable RP memories. Like one good question that I was asked is, what's the most triumphant RP memory that you have?
Mm.
And this can be one where I know as a nation leader and also an admin, there's some RP that you had just for your character, but then a lot of RP where you were there as like an event leader, or like, oh, okay, the nation leaders are here,
Yeah.
let's go fight the undead or whatever. So what's your most, I guess starting with that, do you have like one of your favorite RP memories, the most triumphant? And then we could also compare that against something that's a little bit more I don't know, just close to your own character, if you have another encounter
Yeah.
that was just with
Oh yeah,
native and
there's
someone else.
tons. There's tons. From for starting off like the triumphant one, I tried to have my character more in the background,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it was difficult to balance because I was online a lot, and I did have the power, to fly around and make events happen and stuff like that. So oftentimes I'd be invisible, flying around doing events, and
Mm-hmm.
so
What was
one of
that
the ones
like?
I
So you were invisible. Were you almost DMing back in that
Oh, I
day?
was. I was. Yeah.
Wow.
And with
Okay.
this, and I got a lot of inspiration from EverQuest again.
Mm-hmm.
When 1999 EverQuest was still such a new MMO, and a lot of the GMs in the game would actually run little events and stuff, and where they would spawn monsters and send them at waves of monsters at
Wow.
people, and then they would drop whatever items they thought deemed necessary as a reward and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so it was like a way of DMing in a virtual game. And I thought, wow, that's so cool that they have the power to do that, and that they feel like doing it. They don't
Yeah.
have to,
Mhm.
you know. And so with LOTC, I did a lot of that too, and even early on in Aegis, because while we couldn't use mob disguise back then, we could summon monsters, giant zombies and spiders and whatever else. And one of the coolest ones I thought was really fun was one where Iblis attacked the orc capital.
Oh,
Wasn't
that's
him
right.
wasn't him in the flesh,
It was like an
but he
avatar.
sent tons of monsters at him and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
so I dug this little cave right outside the orc city ahead of time, and put a bunch of spawned tons of spiders down in there and stuff, and had some, server-wide emotes that was kind of speculating that there's something going around
I think
the
I
orcish
think
city,
yeah, I don't think I was in the Orcish city, but I remember seeing those emotes. I think I was in Alcazar or
like
something.
skittering and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we ended up attacking the city. All these players came to the orcish capital, and they were on the wall, the big wall that says San Giselle.
Uh-huh.
And we're sending waves of monsters at the wall, and they're all attacking him. And something I thought was so cool is I changed my name to Iblis, and then went invisible, right? And then when the players were there on the wall, I stood next to them and used /whisper. You will not win. You will not defeat me, and stuff like that. And so they know that in order to hear a whisper, that's coming from really close by,
Oh
right?
man.
And so stuff like that, where we were able to
Mhm.
just put those little details into events. While that wasn't I lost every event I ran, because that's the nature of it. You
Yeah,
want
the hero's
these
gotta
people.
win.
Yeah, but even though I lose, to me that's the most triumphant
Mhm.
loss that I've had. It was really cool. That, or flying around as a dragon once we had mob disguise,
Wow.
was super fun. People chasing after you, and you just see an arrows whiz past your head and stuff. It was really cool seeing people
Wow.
scramble around. Yeah.
Had you, yeah, I suppose you touched on the fact when you were playing EverQuest and you had those encounters with in-game GMs for that game. And I mean, LOTC still has that to this day, and now it's called the event team or the story team.
Right.
And
Right.
then
Yeah.
even in places like World of Warcraft, like another MMO, there are people that run events and stuff like that. Before I ask you about something else, did you ever play D&D, or have you played? Like, when did that fall into the timeline? I'm sure you have by now, at least once.
I've actually never played D&D.
Still?
Never played D&D. No. I have some good friends and coworkers who play it and love it, and I've just never been in the. I feel like for me, I would want to do it physically, not digitally, and I just haven't really met people that do it physically. Some of my buddies will play on Tabletop Simulator, and it looks like a lot of work to get that going, and it's kind of intimidating for me. But no, never did play D&D. I got all my love for the fantasy world from EverQuest and Diablo, for the most part.
Have you been playing Baldur's Gate 3 by any chance?
No, I didn't. I almost bought it a bunch of times. It looks really good, and everybody said it's really good. So, I did grow up playing one of the Baldur's Gate games on Xbox. Great game.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy it. But do you have a RP memory that, from any map, that is more just like when you were actually playing as Prince Native, something that was intimate? I don't mean romantically, but you know what I mean? Like something, here's the big triumphant events, but also something that was like
more personable and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it was always like the little things. Like early on in Aegis, that every nation or even big settlements had ambassadors, which I thought was really cool back then. And they would go out around the map and find out all information, things going on around the world, and bring it back to you. And they'd write in the books, the old Minecraft books you'd write in.
Oh yeah.
And just tons of information, all this information and stuff. And those smaller moments with players like that, where they didn't, they were doing something that didn't get them anything, but they were doing it for the RP of it. for the bigger picture of it all.
Mm.
And really cool. Or even smaller, like, I don't know, the guy, if you remember the guy Brave Paw, an
Sounds familiar.
an old elf guy. He used to be, I think he was actually one of the elven leaders at one point in Azalon or something. Anyway, he had a settlement right near Laurelin and Aegis, and there was just such cool dude. They wanted to have their own little city, and just the whole what is that word? Truce, not a truce, like a treaty, like working together
Yeah.
towards a common goal, because they had always had the orcs messing with them. They were closer to the orcs than we were. They were like in between,
Mhm.
and so we were always lending a hand to them, but not too much so the orcs would get mad at us. That kind of thing. It was cool. Yeah, there's so many instances. I can't really think of a specific one with native, other than this is not intimate, but this is one that just popped in my mind that I thought was funny.
Mhm.
Outside of Laurelin, where the sister city ended up being, forget the name of it, but it used to all be desert out there, right?
Right.
And I really wanted it to be grass for the elves to live in, and I needed to expand my city. So I paid like 20 or 30 players to replace all of the sand with grass, like a 3-block top layer.
Like approaching the orc area?
No, more so like if you're looking at the front gates of Laurelin, it's like
Mhm.
on the back side. We could see it on that server eventually.
Oh,
But they replaced the desert with grass without creative. This was all players
wow.
doing it for Mina, and it's just crazy how much people were invested in the game.
Yeah. So the other side of things that you were heavily involved with, obviously, is like the administration of the server itself.
Lots of it, yeah.
And so one thing that I've always wondered, I don't know how much you're aware, but I would think that you've garnered a very positive and lovely reputation on LOTC, and people think very fondly of you and your work, and I'm among them.
Appreciate it.
And
Yeah,
so what I was gonna ask you is like, what I mean, I teach kids, and sometimes they ask me like, what are your philosophies for teaching? And I'm like, I don't know. I do what I do, and then a lot of it comes through when I'm just explaining what I do. Those are my philosophies. But that's kind of the question that I have for you is like, in administration, LOTC over the years, especially, post Athera or all the maps since, we've had an administration come in and out as often as it comes. And
yeah, I have seen a lot of that.
Right. And some of it has been great. We've gotten some great people that have, in the time that they were able to admin, made some great changes. Other times it feels like the whole server hates everyone on the administration or a group of people, and some of them do, some of them don't. And there's all this, it's the trouble of having a server that's run entirely by volunteers. But
a game that's never been, nobody would ever dare to make a fully role-playing game.
Right.
That's totally run basically by the honor system, right?
Yeah.
Because the only way the server works is that people let it work, like the players let it work. It doesn't matter how many GMs are there, if people aren't willing to, tell
Get
a story together. Yeah. So I did administration was a lot, and I think what it comes down to is just being sincere, and I think that's why you do what you do so well, is because you are sincere. People realize that you do care about what you're saying, and you do love it.
Mm-hmm.
So people feed off that, and I think that's the biggest thing for me, lasting as long as I have in terms of notoriety, is just that I cared. I actually cared. It's like, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that's
it's
what
an interesting concept.
Like, oh, you actually give a crap.
Yeah,
because I want people to have fun. I want people to enjoy themselves. What else is there to live for than to enable others to enjoy themselves? So
there you have it. That's
Jeez.
Amazing. Okay. Well,
but as far as adminning the server,
yeah, no,
just a quick segue there from a truth bomb. No, so yeah, I don't know if you knew, like, of when, I don't know if Titus touched on this, when Valor was removed from owning the
course.
server.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
and
I was because they were all in the UK, and so
Mhm.
I'm asleep at those time,
Oh,
and I wake up one morning and they're like, "Hey, a bunch of shit went down, and we had to kick out a Veiler."
so you weren't
Um,
even involved in that?
Not at all. I
Oh,
was
wow.
totally asleep, and they were like, "Yeah, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
We think he was taking money and blah blah blah." I don't know how much truth there is to that.
Hmm.
But we removed him from everything, changed all the passwords, even though it was his brainchild.
Yeah.
Um, Removed him from everything, and we want to put you in his place. I was like, "Oh, okay,
That's what you wake up to. I never
yeah."
knew that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so I woke up to that, and then I pretty much, LOTC was in my name for 2 or 3 years in terms of ownership,
Hmm.
and that's when I became the lead developer, right at the end of Aegis and into Azalon, which I wasn't the lead developer when Azalon was being made, so I really had no hand in the creation of Azalon as itself. I was the one running all the events and stuff for the end of the server in Aegis.
Hmm.
So while Azalon was being developed, I didn't even look at the thing. I didn't care about it, right?
Mm.
So as far as LOTC 2.0, I didn't really have a play in that map, although it was a cool map. It was totally different from Aegis, if you remember,
Yeah, very.
and a whole different host of problems came up.
Hmm.
But yeah, do we remember the end of the Aegis event? Do you want to talk about that real quick? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wasn't around, but everything from the stories of the acts of Krug and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, what
Oh
was
yeah.
your? Because it was Veiler wasn't still around by that point, was he?
No, no, he was gone for that.
Hmm.
And then so we wanted to make up this big event for the end of the server. But yeah, so to boil it down, the players had to retrieve an axe that was deep inside the Nether.
Hmm.
And what really made this event exciting was we said that if you enter the Nether for this event, your character will die in
Yeah.
roleplay if they die. Because
Hmm.
up until then, you were in charge of whether or not your character dies.
Yeah,
Right.
just respawn
And
over and
so
over.
yeah, so for those 5 people that entered the Nether, they were thinking, if I die, that's this character's life is done. And so a lot of these people, and all those people were all the biggest names on the server for the most part, because they were all those strongest warriors.
Yeah.
So losing your strongest warrior and whatever, it was a big deal. So that was really cool. I think there was something like 400 people watching on livestream.com back then before this whole Twitch thing really took
Yeah.
off. I think Twitch was around, but people were still using live stream
Hmm.
pretty big. So.
Yeah, back then it may have been the guy who made Twitch. I think it used to be called like Jason.tv or something like that, based off the guy that made it. It was a whole other name, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. Are there, as far as builds on the server, which we'll probably, if we get a chance to, we'll take a look at in a moment, but do you have a favorite build of yours? I know that you're known for carving out and placing the roads on a lot of maps, even I believe some parts of our most recent one. Um,
I
and
can only
so
imagine how many thousands and thousands of
I
blocks.
know, and I thought you were going to say thousands of people have walked on roads that you've made
That
virtually.
that too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Does
Um,
your love for trails and forests and things, does that have some link to things that you enjoy IRL? And
oh,
then
well, yeah,
also what's your favorite build aside from that as well?
yeah. No, I'm a huge nature fan. I love growing up out of high school. I would go down to the woods with some buddies, sometimes alone,
Hmm.
and we'd build like little shelters and all kinds of stuff out of sticks and leaves, and
Hmm.
and make these really cool like island huts looking things and all kinds of stuff. And we'd make food down there, and we loved this spot so much that we ended up for like 4 hours. A buddy and I got rakes, metal rakes and stuff, and scratched a trail all the way down to the river bed where we hung out. It
Mhm.
took forever, and it's Texas, so it's so hot. There's poison ivy and mosquitoes everywhere. It's just, the whole place wants you to die. And no, so yeah, I love nature, and I do like infrastructure a lot. I found that those games like City Skylines and
Hmm.
stuff where they're just making the roads. I don't know. I just get super interested in that. So I don't know, man. I think I was a city planner in another life.
Maybe you
uh,
probably could still be. Um,
that'd be cool.
yeah.
But no, in terms of builds that I've done, I liked all the spawns. I think the spawn
Mm,
as for Anthos, I really
yeah.
liked that one.
Yeah.
It was really neat in terms of everything fitting but it was, a lot of these builds like that, it's kind of like a theme park, kind of like World of Warcraft where everything looks all neat and pretty, but you can't touch it. So I
Yeah.
do have mixed feelings. I do like I want people to mess things up,
Hmm.
to be able to mess things up.
Well,
But yeah, I've always enjoyed making the spawns for the map, keeping it
yeah. With
that sandstone brick that we all know and love.
yeah, that will forever be used for every
Right.
Cloud Temple ever. The yeah, on the Anthos Cloud Temple in Azulon and Anthos, I think it was introduced the Wilvan monks lore, so
Oh
people could
yeah,
actually play monks, and
yeah.
um, I was a member of the monks. God, I'm trying to remember. There was someone named, I think, Sapphire or something like that,
Mm,
or was it Freya? Something.
Freya.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
who was a leader of the monks at some time way back. This is over 10 years ago. But
yeah.
anyway, in Anthos, actually, I mean, you talk about not being able to touch or change it. I remember being granted limited creative to go in and create a housing section under the Anthos Cloud Temple. And so I
Oh, that's
actually
cool.
bored out under it and then created rooms and houses and everything. And then
Nice.
eventually, when sort of the end of map event for Anthos came up, I think I think it was like Cytherian the dragon and a whole bunch of other dragon minions. We basically had our undead event take over the Cloud Temple, kind of like back in Aegis.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
But yeah, the
but
Cloud Temple is always, it's like, for me, the Cloud Temple was and is like the mascot of the server.
mhm,
If you don't have a consistent logo, then you have that vision of the
right,
Cloud Temple, right? That has just never wavered. You think of the Cloud Temple, you can close your eyes, you can see it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's important. That's
mm,
important to branding. And
I
that's another
yeah,
thing I really feel really are truly passionate about is branding. As kind of materialistic, I don't care about money so much, but I do like success. And I think a
yeah,
lot of I think a lot of companies really fall short in terms of branding, or just having a very like central idea of what you're making or what you stand to for or stand to be. A lot of things just kind of they check off too many boxes, and then it's just kind of this amalgamation. For LOTC, I wanted it to be strictly Western fantasy, dragons and like the cheesy books that your grandpa would read that have the girl and the strong Hercules man on it.
Princess
I
Bride.
wanted to, yeah, to feel kind of that way. Um, but what a unique experience the server has been,
Mm.
you know,
So
for so many people.
since uh, after Athera and you moving on to other projects and things, what have you been up to since then? What other I know you've posted a lot about other builds that you've done, non LOTC related. Um, so could you touch on like what other things that you've used Minecraft for, and then also like what personal projects you have or creative projects you have going on that may not have anything to do with LOTC?
Yeah, yeah. So another thing that I was in charge of at least a couple times in LOTC's infancy is making the maps for the server.
Hmm.
So actually making the physical worlds, and I would use World Painter and Voxel Sniper and stuff to make the worlds and design them. So I have just tons and tons of images on my computer of maps that I've wanted to make using World
Mm,
Painter and stuff. So anyway, after Athera and I kind of fizzled out, I was using my map making skills to make maps for people on Reddit and stuff like that. People would commission maps from me, and sometimes people would pay 3, 4, $500 for a single map.
wow.
Um, and that was really cool. And and it was fun to be challenged in that way, because no matter what, I would learn something every time using World Painter, because there's all these little tips and tricks on that. And so yeah, I was making a bunch of worlds for Minecraft servers. Bunch of people who were trying to take out LOTC, I'd make them a map, sure, because I knew they would fail. I wasn't worried, man.
Give me your money, I'll make your map, and then
I made maps for maybe 4 or 5 servers that were trying to be role playing.
Wow.
You know, from people who might have left LOTC, people who were even banned from LOTC. That I might have even banned them. And so I was doing that for a while, and then people just got really good at it, and so I don't know. It's hard because there's, you know, the more people that play it, the harder it is to stand out.
Right.
So I made maps for a long time, and you know, every once in a while, maybe a couple times a year, you get an itch to build something, to make something. Especially if there's not an MMO that I'm playing, because I do play MMOs and games like that. And when you're not building a character, I'm like, well, I need to build something, you know. So I build a little house or whatever on Minecraft. But no, outside of that, outside of Minecraft, I'm making a costume. We were just talking about cosplay earlier. I'm making a costume where I'm a treant, like from Lord of the Rings, and I actually have stilts. I'm gonna be on stilts and everything, and yeah, they're 3-foot tall stilts, and I'm a 6-foot tall dude.
Oh
6'2".
wow.
And I will have a big walking stick too, so I kind of have 3 points to the ground, you know. You know, walking around we have some huge Renaissance festivals. The biggest Renaissance festivals in the country are here in Texas. So I'll be hanging around there, taking pictures with families and stuff like that. I'm really excited about it.
That's so cool. I've never been to one. I've always wanted to go to a Ren Fair, but
it's really good.
Someday I want to get into, you know, cosplay and stuff like that too, like I mentioned. But yeah, that's really cool. What's the process for, like? Good question.
Yeah, so it took a lot of brainstorming to figure out, because if you go in Google right now, like Tree Man costume, there's pretty much only one guy that you will find in the whole world. Literally, wow. I've Googled for ages, unless it's not on Google and somewhere else. But there's one guy, and he tours the country, called the Walking Tree of Life. And the way he did it was he poured a latex mold over a downed tree so that he could get a negative of the bark, and then it made a latex version of a costume. And that's cool, but it's kind of floppy, you know?
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing is I've used chicken wire, and I've wrapped it around my stilts, and then I've cut out a bunch of these, like, you know, like foam, like high density foam. It's really popular used in cosplay, for cosplay armor and stuff. Anyway, I've cut a bunch of these little strips, all different sizes and shapes of the foam, and then I'm gonna use contact cement to glue it onto the chicken wire. And then once it's glued on the chicken wire, then go with a Dremel, and you can actually sand these little foam pieces down. So then you go with a Dremel and make it look all ugly and gnarled and stuff. So it's gonna take ages. But hopefully by next year, this time, I should be done.
And then you paint it as well?
Yeah. So you use acrylic paint first. After you've done the foam, you would spray basically like a liquid rubber in a spray can form over the foam, so then it's really rigid and firm. And then you would paint it with acrylic paints and then a clear lacquer. Call it a day.
Wow.
But we'll see, man. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I would love to see, you know, photos of that when it's done, or you know, if you ever post any on social media or anything.
Yeah, I'll send them your way.
It's great. Okay. Well, I think we're reaching a point where you know, as we finish our first hour here, we've kind of touched on a lot of stuff. We'll start to head into, I think, if anyone has some live Q&A questions, then we could start to take those. And then in a little bit too, maybe we'll hop around on some maps, and then we'll go from there. I feel like I've learned so much. Some of that stuff about the early server's history, I didn't really know at all. I was just yet another player who was going around, you know, joining a bandit group. And then when the Undead and Ascended trailer came out, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And
it was the coolest thing ever. Yeah.
Was the Ascended and then the Undead. But I guess
You hear a crack of lightning and you know exactly what's going on.
yes. Talk about branding. But yeah, so I guess we have some questions here from chat. My last question, I guess, is there any advice that you would want to give to either current nation leaders or administrators or players of LOTC? You know, it's been quite a while since you've played actively, but is there
Yeah.
anything that you feel like over the years has been forgotten about what it means to be on the server and or how to run it? I don't know, anything that you feel like if you still had a presence, you'd want to remind everyone.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that this server holds true to itself, and it should hold true to itself, and what makes this server stand out, and what can make this server so successful, is that it is cooperative storytelling. So you're telling a story with a group of people, you know, and that's why it's so difficult, and that's why everybody is at odds with each other all the time, is because you're all working on one painting, you know. Of course it's going to be hard,
Yeah.
right? But you got to be willing to let somebody else go in front of you, you know what I mean? You have to be willing to surrender your own wants in order for this to work. So at the end of the day, like you have to work together, you have to be willing to let people win. And you know, with a server like this and a game like this, it gives you the ability to make a memorable thing for someone. You can, you know, make something for someone that they'll never forget. Just like in real life, you know, you give somebody a compliment, you see somebody who's walking by who looks really down, who might be really insecure or self-conscious, and you know it, you can tell. Most of us can tell, right? And so you see that person and you say something, you know, that's going to really lift them up. It's kind of the same thing. You have the chance, the opportunity to make something really special for people, and just use it every chance you get, because you're going to get old and you're going to think, God damn, I should have done more. It's true.
Amen. All right, we have some questions from chat here. So the first one is Vintage asking me if there will be an LOTC stream this week. Vintage, just for you, yes, I'll do one. Next question is, did you actually do... okay, so here's a question from What a Sithuation, like Sith.
I see.
It says, did you actually do all the high elf lore with Larihe, aka was it RP'd?
I don't know what high elf lore he's talking about. And I don't even know if I know who Alari he is. So chances are it's fabricated. As far as I know, I didn't really do much RPing with high elves back then. They were kind of snooty.
They still kind of are. But in a way that
they're
we
just
love.
RP.
It's just RP.
Right. No, I don't remember, unless you give me some more info.
Yeah, I think what it may have been is like when some of that elven lore was made, because your character like was the leader of there's essentially elven lore now, to make it brief, that the elves traveled to a different continent for some time before coming back to Aegis. There's like all this lore about like an elven homeland essentially that was written, but I'm not an elf, I don't know too much about it.
And you know, lore is lore. Anybody can lie, even in character. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Even if it's lore written in the game and it's what those characters believe, it's what those characters believe. It doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah. All right, the next question. Oh, thank you so much, Shadow. This is amazing. I meant to ask about this and have only just been reminded. So Shadow has arrived, says, yo, I believe I read a super old forum post from Minecraft.forums. It said something about an LOTC booth at Minecon. I think you made the post, Shiftnative. I meant to ask you about our brief... I don't even know if Minecon still happens. I think a lot, as with many things, it's digital now. But
Probably.
back when Minecraft was huge, and when, you know, Notch was still running it, and Minecon and all that, can you talk just briefly about the experience of going to Minecon, like what even led to that? And then I've never heard anything about what that experience was like actually being there.
Yeah, it was a huge deal. It was a huge deal for us. It was right before the end of Aegis. So this was during the Aegis,
Mhm.
and this was before the end of the Aegis event where they went down into the Nether we talked about before.
Yeah.
So this is in 2011. Minecraft finally launches as an official game. It's out of beta,
Wow.
and they're going to put it on the stores. And so they're doing their first ever convention in Las Vegas. This is a big
Wow.
deal for the $1 billion game, right?
Mhm.
So they announced this convention, and of course, you know, we are the #1 role-playing server in the game. The server is doing really well for itself, thanks partly to the fact that we could sell 50 by 50 plots of land for $100. We didn't talk about this,
Mm.
but in the early infancy of Aegis, you know, if you donated $50, or sorry, if you donated $100, we'd give you a 50 by 50 protected plot of land. That was how we distributed protected land in the game, because how else do you kind of figure that out, you know? And what do we do for people who want to donate? So let's give them their own little area, right? So we set it up to where people could donate $100 and you get 50 by 50 plot of land, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people donated right away.
Wow.
Like in the 2011, we made like $100,000, something crazy, and or more. And so we were 100%. We're going to Minecon. We got to go to Minecon. We got to raise some money to go to Minecon, because even though we made a lot of money, it was an expensive server.
Yeah.
So we raised some money and went to Minecon. We bought a booth. I think the booth was like over $2,000 just for the spot at the convention.
I'm sure.
And then got a hotel, stayed at the Mandalay Bay, which is where the convention was held.
And who all went?
It was just me, and I was in a meetup with iTechify, if you remember him. He became a GM at the time. And he just so happened to live nearby, or had enough money to show up and help me out.
Wow.
So I was there alone for the first day, and then he ended up coming. Anyway, so we have a booth at Minecon, and there's 7,000 attendees or more.
Wow.
And there's only 3 booths that have servers. There was Super Earth, there was Legendary Craft, and there was us.
Wow.
They had a booth. They had one booth for some kind of server, you know, place that would rent out servers to you. They had another booth that had merch, and a couple other booths. So there was a lot of people, and by day 1 my voice was completely hoarse. I was just speaking so loudly over everybody so that they could walk up to our booth and say, what is this about? We didn't have big TVs or flashy stuff. We just had a big banner, which I still have the banner here somewhere.
Oh my God.
I'd love to pull it out. I found it recently, and I actually thought about putting it up on eBay and see. Oh, no, that's not it. I'll have to get it another time. But it's a big banner about 12 feet long, and it says Lord of the Craft on it, black with gold letters. And anyway, thousands of people were coming up to the booth, you know, literally. And my whole spiel was, you know, this is the future of role playing. If you want to role play in the best medium you possibly can, Minecraft is where you want to be. So my aim was to get people who might not even be interested in Minecraft to buy it. And the Microsoft people, the Sony people, different reps who were there were talking to me about it, and they were really excited. They thought it was a really cool idea, in the fact that we were utilizing Minecraft in a way, you know, that could hit a whole different audience. You know, maybe even older people who like D&D, who like that kind of thing, who could set up their own environments to have their, you know, campaigns on and stuff. So yeah, it was a huge deal. I felt so proud to go to that event and to be there and to be speaking positively about what we've created. And what was kind of cool is back then, you know, live streaming was still pretty new in terms of popularity. And I just so happened to bring my laptop that had wireless internet and whatever. So I had the live stream on my laptop, and I would walk around the event everywhere away from the booth with my laptop over my head, showing everybody on the live stream, you know, the event and stuff. And chat was lighting up, of course. And it wasn't until they had I still have pictures too somewhere on my computer, but they had a panel downstairs, so everybody left the convention, and only people who operated the booths could remain in on the convention floor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just me and maybe 6 other people all spread out doing their own thing. And there's a couple bean bags in the middle of the convention floor that people were sitting on, and I'm just sitting on the bean bags and on the live stream on my laptop and talking to people. And then who comes up walking behind me and sits down in the bean bags? Do you know, Zach?
Let me guess. Well, no. Who is it?
Notch and
Oh.
Jeb
Oh my
come
god.
walking up. There's three bean bags in the middle of the floor, and Notch and Jeb come up and sit on the other 2 bean bags next to me. And I think Jeb asked to borrow my scissors. I had some scissors. That's all I got, man.
Oh.
They were just such nerds, and still just didn't understand the scope of what they created and what it could do for people.
Wow.
That they didn't acknowledge anybody who owned a server, who was there promoting their server. They didn't come around to talk to anybody. They didn't mention anybody, nothing like that. So it was a little disheartening in terms of not, especially considering there was so little to see at the convention.
Right.
We were without these 3 servers there, it would just be one less thing in this empty floor. So
yeah.
kind of bummed out about that, but still, it was such a cool event, and I wish I had more recordings of it. One of the long recordings where I had my laptop, walking around. One of the server owners that was next to us was goofing off and grabbed my laptop to turn it around and look at him, and he pressed the power button on it. Turned off the laptop, which didn't save the 2-hour recording of all of the first ever Minecon. So that sucked. But still, great experience. And I think it's just so cool what this game was for me, was kind of an intro to business in terms of like how to market things towards people, but also make it easily digestible. Because I don't know, if you go and look on the forums, you'll see I used to make a ton of forum posts, like on the administrative side for the forum. And that's another thing I take some pride in, is giving people the information they need to hear, but in a way that is anybody can digest. That's not 3-5 paragraphs long, because that's such a problem with these kind of communities, is that it's full of writers and thinkers, and sometimes they overthink and they overwrite.
Something that you said earlier is that, especially back in the day, your belief was that Minecraft is the best medium for roleplay, like the future of roleplay. And
right.
On one hand, LOTC is still here, and after all the years, you mentioned of all these competitors that have come up and none have really come close. How much of that is due to LOTC's brand and its reputation just maintaining versus actual quality? Who knows? But do you still think, what's your perspective now on roleplay? I mean, I know you said you haven't played D&D before. I think when you play D&D, that's going to be one huge pillar in this aspect of roleplay for you. But aside from that, I don't know, what are your thoughts on RP now? Like, after leaving LOTC, did you still have any avenue to roleplay or to write or create stories?
No, I did not really get into any other roleplay outlets or anything. I do have a book I really want to write, like a science fiction. It's really interesting. I'll have to talk to you about it later.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say you wanted to write a book, like a nonfiction book about the experience of like
that would be cool.
You would have
That'd
a very
cool.
unique perspective on it. But anyway.
Yeah, it is a unique take, because man, it was definitely a ride. But no, I think my perception or my idea of like role playing hasn't really changed. But I do feel like I'm a lot harder than I was back then. Like, if I were to redo everything I did in LOTC over, I would be a lot firmer, a lot meaner, probably. But in a way to preserve what the server is, because you have to be, in order to maintain like that continuity associated with creating a product that will stand the test of time. You have to be firm. And so, I mean, that kind of goes like why Disney has been successful, why Tolkien was so successful, is because there was either only one guy working on it, or the guy who did own it was making sure that everybody listened to him. And it sounds horrible in some ways, but I just feel like early on in LOTC, we were just trying so many new things to try to figure this out, that maybe I made some decisions I wouldn't do now. But that's the only thing I can think of in terms of change. But yeah, it's so funny that LATC is going so strong for so long, and every once in a while I'll look and there's 200 people online, 300 people online. I'm like, yeah, it's just how it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that we're still figuring it out, and that just goes to show how difficult this idea is that we're bringing to life, is that everybody who comes and tries it doesn't even get close, right? And then the people who are doing it and trying it are still doing whatever it takes to make it happen, to figure it out, to make it work for everyone, And it's funny you mentioned the D&D thing, because I think a big thing on LOTC that is missing would be a D&D style combat, because I've always favored Minecraft, like default combat, Minecraft combat,
like
for
fighting
default.
mechanically in Minecraft.
Right, just because it has that absolute,
right?
Because role play fighting, somebody has to give in.
Exactly.
There's a million variables. No, your orc didn't slip on a rock, or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just so many possibilities. So I always favored Minecraft combat, but yeah, I think a D&D style combat for the game that would take into consideration a bunch of different things. What weapon is the character holding right now? Iron sword. Okay, +1 damage, whatever. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It would be a big undertaking to make, but it would be nice to solve some of the problems that often occur, because this game does attract a big swarm of different people. So
yeah, and having some sort of system for everyone to agree on, rather than trusting everyone to.
Yeah, you could have multiple options, and then it's just you get on the
Everyone has
list.
to
You start with
agree.
roleplay.
Yeah.
Can't figure it out. RP, whatever. So
it's interesting. Okay, let's take another couple questions from chat, and then we'll go on. So Crevel asks, what was Availor banned for? And was there a lot of pressure when you were told that you had to step into his shoes on top of what you were already doing? Feel free to answer that to any depth that you want.
Yeah, great question. So I wasn't there for the finding out of what his wrongdoings were, but what I've told was that he was taking money from the server without telling anybody.
I think that's what embezzlement is. There's a bunch of financial terms.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that's the right one. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he owned the server, but I'm guessing, I'm just assuming that it was under the pretense that all the money would be used for the server and so on. And so when people found funds missing and so on, they jumped to kick him out. So that's as far as I know in terms of that. But interesting enough, he ended up becoming a Counter-Strike shoutcaster.
Oh.
And he was actually, and later was on, like, I had seen him on Counter-Strike, like on set at a big Counter-Strike tournament, where he's standing behind the booth with other casters and he's talking to the mic, like a TV personality. Yeah, 100%. On a stream with like 10,000 viewers watching Counter-Strike tournament. Yeah. It was super bizarre.
Makes me wonder where one of those "where is he now" moments.
Oh yeah, so that's all I know about that.
Yeah, and then
controversial,
right? And then the other part of that question was, was it a lot of pressure for you to step into his shoes?
It was pressure only applied by myself, because we were all, it was still so early on. The server was so successful. It wasn't really a stressful idea to take on that role so much. Because we were just like, we're doing amazing, this is so fun, whatever, sure, yeah, I'll take it. And so I wasn't really stressed out, more so from what the expectation would come from the players. Because when the server started, I was a little bit more reserved as a person. I didn't work in the retail industry yet and have to talk to people all day long, so I was a bit more shy.
Mhm.
in 2011, 2012, and so on. And so Availer was a lot more outspoken of a person, and so naturally he fit the role of the face of the server a bit more, um, until his loss. So when he was kicked out, and I realized, well, I'm gonna have to step up and be the face of the server. That was the only problem I had, was just thinking like, oh geez, I got to get up and make videos and look at a camera and say, and be enthusiastic, and all this stuff, which I feel like I want to be, right? But everybody just has their own approach to it, and sometimes things come naturally more so to other people. But I am thankful for it. But it was difficult. It was difficult.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I relate on that as well too. And
Mhm.
I mean, I was gonna say, at your early 20s, going to flying to Vegas and doing Minecon, having that brief interaction with Notch and Jeb, but like meeting all those people and everything, like,
Mm.
and then running
That
the server. uh uh, what it makes me think, was there, to what degree has LOTC shaped your life? Like, do you consciously think about that? Are there things that are still influenced to this day in like your work or your personal life, your creative projects, that like if LOTC wasn't a part of it would be very different? Like,
I
what do you
think
think about
so. I
that?
think so a lot, because I gained a lot of confidence from the server, from being the owner of the server specifically.
Hmm.
Just knowing that something that was so successful largely in part to our efforts, and that people were meeting their girlfriends and boyfriends and getting married
Yeah,
to people
yeah.
they met on the game. For
I
me, I was
just met
just
someone that just this year met and are now fiancés
wow.
on
See, like
LTC.
for me, I'm like, just stick a fork in me, dude. I'm done. That is so amazing, and
Yeah.
that makes it so worthwhile. Even if just one person met their spouse, that's it.
Hmm.
If that's the only good that ever came from this game, I would still be so satisfied, because that is so awesome
Hmm.
that we were able to do that. Sorry, what was the question?
No, just like how influential LOTC has been on your life, and like, I
Oh,
don't
right,
know.
right. Sorry, I was just so
No,
enamored by
like
the
I
fact
was
that
too.
people
When
got
I,
married.
yeah, when I heard that, I think it's, I don't know if they still are, but it was the leader of Haints, which is one of the main nations
Hmm,
on the server.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
No, I think it definitely played a part. Just that the confidence of knowing, you know, the success of the server, and that you are capable of something.
Hmm.
You
Mm.
are capable, because I do hold myself to a pretty high standard. I think a lot of us do.
Yeah.
And so some maybe you're more critical of yourself, of other creations. But when it comes to something of this scale, it's just undoubtable. It's like we really made something cool, and I think that, yeah, that definitely um, made it easier for me to get into the work world, and then go into the retail space, and then talk to people, because I did feel better about myself. So when you feel better about yourself, it's easier to talk to other people, and have that confidence within yourself. So that played a big part. Yeah, 100%.
Well,
And do I still think about it? Um, not real. I mean, I do think every once in a while back on, like, just the ideas that were created through making LOTC. I think just the idea that so many people are working together to create something is really, really cool. I don't really think about it all the time. No. I just got this so much other stuff going on
yeah,
nowadays.
life.
But I do love Minecraft. I'm really excited for that Hytale game to come out.
Yeah.
I may or may not be making something involving that. Not role playing. Don't worry about that. LOTC coming for you, buddy. No, no,
Hey,
it's
I'd
not
love
gonna
to
be.
see it.
It's not gonna be RP enforced. Not that you're scared or anything, guys. But no. So
This just in: former LOTC administrator Shiftnative starting his own server. That is that's fun. That would be the straw that broke the camel's back, man. That's
that'd
funny.
be pretty bad. No, but so I'm excited about that.
Hmm.
I've got that costume I'm making.
Yeah, yeah. It's cool.
I really want to
Didn't
tell you about that book.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Did you do you skateboard? For some reason, I
I
remember
do.
something about that.
Yeah, man, I've been skateboarding a long time, maybe 20 plus years. No, yeah, more than that, 25 years.
That's as long as
I
I've been
got some.
alive.
I got some moves. I'm 34, but I can I could still tray flip and kick flip, backside flip, frontside flip. Which,
Hell yeah. In the
no,
armor.
I mean, it hurts. Yeah, no, I get so sore. Like if I go skating, I get so sore because it's like maybe 3 or 4 times a year now.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have a lot of other skate buddies around anymore. So
yeah. Okay, let's get some of these last questions and then maybe try to hop on the server and see how that goes. Hope Sky 80 says, "What was your favorite character you saw back then?" I'm assuming back then could be any time.
yeah, like a really notable character.
Sure.
Oh man, Brett Pereira, whatever, was so funny. He brought a fashion trend to Minecraft. I mean, you can't deny that. He would run around only wearing gold boots, and it became a fashion trend on Aegis. And he was like, he would just come up and be like, "You like my gold boots?" and stuff, and be like, totally riz you up with the gold boots. And before you know it, you would run around and see other players only wearing gold boots.
Oh my god.
No other armor. Just gold boots.
I vaguely remember this. I don't think
There's probably I bet on one of the servers where it has like the museum, museum servers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the spawns used to have artifacts and stuff. I'm pretty sure it was
right.
Brett Pereira's golden boots or somewhere there. I'm telling you, man.
That's amazing.
Other than that, what are some other? There was this one bandit. I can't remember his name in 2011, but he made such a big name for himself. Like everybody knew who this guy was. No, it was before Pugsy.
Oh.
He was Azalon era. But no, this guy because back in 2011, there wasn't the no RP kill thing wasn't a thing. You could run up and just start whacking somebody and kill them. You could just run up on somebody and just and just kill him flat out. No RP. And you know what? I like that.
Let's bring it back.
I'm that's my hot take. I like that shit. Okay, because the reason why is because, it is RP. Sure, you're stuck in the middle of typing. Press enter, man. Press enter, pull your sword out, start whacking them. Like, there's just so many instances of fun are interrupted because of rules. If you need to alt tab to go to the rules, it ain't right. Like, just even if something is right and you go to the rules to make sure it's not wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, wait, hold up, RP, I gotta pull up my phone book. No, wait, page 72, 1 second. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun in 2011 because people didn't care so much and people were willing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
people didn't care so much, but they cared a lot simultaneously.
Yeah.
And now people care too much, but they don't care enough.
They care too much about themselves and not enough about the
big picture,
the art of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
all right, adding it to my my list of things to post now. Shiftnative bringing back Pugsy, bringing back no RP killing. Shiftnative is the next Pugsy. Great. Wonderful. Next question is from Zavuna, which says, "Did in-game mobs ever spawn during your RP when that was enabled? And if so, did you ever RP the aftermath of killing them?" So I guess this is like, let's say you're in the middle of an RP scenario, suddenly there's a creeper at the door, you both turn, kill the creeper, and then did you RP like a creeper just walked up on us,
Yeah, people definitely did that. And mobs were a huge problem on the server for years. They were still trying to figure out how can we have them, but have them in a way that's not intrusive, because we need to have them for economy's sake and some kind, you don't want the world to just feel dead. Players liked having them.
Yeah.
So it was a real delicate balance. We even added like heat maps where monsters would only spawn where players aren't, and all this stuff. It was crazy. A lot of thought went into it.
Yeah.
But people RP'd them.
We don't have.
We even
those
RP'd when
anymore.
We updated the server in Aegis, and some of the chunks that weren't loaded would load in the new chunks of when you updated the game, right?
Yeah.
So one of the new chunks uploaded, and this was when they added villagers to the game, right? So villagers, a chunk of villagers just somehow appeared in Aegis, and we RP'd that. We're like, who are these guys? Who are these dudes? And we even made them the driving evil force in Azalon.
Right, right. That's
because
right.
because
Yeah.
what do the players do? The what is it called? The Squidwards appeared in Aegis, and so what do the players do? Of course, they're gonna run over there and beat the shit out of them and steal all their loot, right?
Oh my
So
God,
we
that's
use
the.
that. So we use that because the players beat them up. We said, okay, well now they're gonna follow y'all through the Verge to Aslan
Oh my
and
God.
be the ultimate bad guys. So any chance that you can use the game to, everything can be. That's another thing, mantra
Mhm.
that people should understand is that everything can be explained in RP.
Wow.
Everything. But yeah, it's fun.
That's amazing.
What up?
Okay. Let's see. Theos Volt says, "Is the banner admin signed?" So this
Oh
is
damn, that'd be good.
yeah.
I'll
So
sign
that's a
it, but
joke
I got
because
nobody else.
it's a joke because I don't know if this was a thing as early as when you were taking part, but now we have RP items that the story team can approve. So there's
right.
items that like a player, like I can take a stick in my inventory, a Minecraft stick, and rename it my quarterstaff, and then write all this detail about it, and then I can sign it, and people can agree, like it'll still mechanically just be a stick. But then there's also like story items, which are a part of like events that are run by the story team, which is sort of the equivalent of what you used to do back in the day, GMing events for people. Anyway, so when someone says something is admin signed, that means in the game of LOTC, like this in-game mechanical item has also been signed and approved by an admin. So
physical.
yeah, so you should have a physically admin signed LOTC
That's
banner.
funny.
That's so cool, by the way, too. You should. I mean, you said you were going to put it on eBay. Sure, but you got to tell the server about it. Let us get the first bid.
Oh yeah, no. Nobody would buy it except for the server, so it would only be on the eBay with everybody knowing.
Mhm.
But I kind of want to keep it. Maybe I do have 2 or 3 shirts still to the original 2011 vintage.
There's
vintage Minecraft shirt here, bud.
Wait, Minecraft shirts or LOTC shirts?
No, it's LOTC. Yeah.
That's even better.
Because there's
like we don't have merch. No one's done LOTC merch since then, I guess. But
yep.
All right,
we even
cool.
sold a single LOTC thong, just so you know. Spicy content. Spicy content. Link in bio. No, it was using spreadshirts.com. And it would give, you could just put your logo on whatever item they would sell. And so on the LOTC spreadshirts, you would go and maybe some LOTC merch, and you go and you scroll down, you say, a shirt, a sweater, a tank top, that's cute. At the bottom, a thong. And it had LOTC. It had LOTC written on it. We sold one. Somebody out there is
in
rocking
the world
that thing.
Has an LOTC. Oh God! All right.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry.
This is great.
Sorry, not sorry.
No. All right. Next question. I want to stay on that for like another 10 minutes, but
I know. We should probably move on.
Yeah. So Saracen Gaius, I think I'm saying right, says, my question for Shift. Okay. Do you think that returning to the early Aegis system of having nations led by staff might do well to address the matter of player groups ending up in situations where they become hostile with one another on LOTC, on this shared platform? Says Gaius, one of the dumbasses back then that opened the Pandora's box of player-led nations.
That must be Gaius Marius.
I think so.
As far as I know, I don't know. I don't think there's a win. I think either way they're gonna have equal problems. I think it is beneficial to have like a GM or nation leader, or GM be a nation leader, for obvious reasons, but it's also equally as detrimental, being that you can't keep tabs on these GMs, so you don't really know who's using their powers to favor their nation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be a lot of that speculation, and then and the biggest thing, because who cares, you know, there's no winning in role play. It's just whether or not you have a good time, and that's up to you, buddy. But but yeah. So for a player to never even have the chance to become king, that is a big thing. For them to join the server and knowing as a little guy that you will never become a king
unless they become a GM, if we go with
Right.
that system, right?
Right, and then you're going to want to become a GM for the wrong reasons, and then you're going to give your settlement
Right.
stuff for the wrong reason.
Because
So-
they're wanting to become GM, not to GM, which has its own responsibilities, but to become a nation leader. So interesting.
Right. So no, I think the lesser of the two evils probably is the player one.
Mhm.
And as far as them getting hostile with each other, get over it.
I
Like,
know
that's what they need to
it's
hear.
a
That's what they need
Minecraft
to hear.
server.
They need dad to come in there. They need dad to show up. God damn it, kids! What are you doing? I leave you all alone for 3 years, 7 years. I don't know how long it's been, but seriously, people need to either figure it out. It needs to be a play nice policy. EverQuest 1999. I play on a Project 1999 server. It's a private server owned by a bunch of guys who just really love EverQuest, and they have a play nice policy where if you can't get along, you separate. You know, and if you still can't figure it out, we ban you. That's that. Like,
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's what it has to boil down to, basically, because you can't have GMs monitor everything. Like, I have so many screenshots of people sending me messages on the forums where it's 10 paragraphs long of them describing this entire event and all the intricacies that led up to it and why this guy is metagaming, you know? I'm like, bro, I'm not going to read that. I don't have time to read everybody's essay about why this guy's a jerk and you're the best man ever. So,
at that point, they should just resolve it themselves, separate, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's what people need to hear. They need, and you know, and it's largely my fault, but I think LOTC needs a voice or needs a face. For a while now, you know, there hasn't been the main. Does it have a lead developer?
I mean,
is there somebody whose main goal is to keep the, you know, focus of the server in a straight line? You know what I mean?
I mean,
I don't think
I could tell you about the admins right now. What the main problem from my perspective that we've had as of late is it feels like, just personally, like we have Tythus, who just owns the server and doesn't really take any part in like it maintaining it or anything like that, or actually administrating it. And then personally too, I mean, even just starting there, I'm grateful that Tythus is there to keep the lights on and very responsibly takes care of the server and makes sure that it's updated and that everything's going on. But would I prefer a server owner that was much more directly involved in the server's, you know, game plan and mission? Yes. And then we have Lear and Telenir. So those are basically kind of our three main admins. Lear kind of leading the coding side of things and knows everything about the back end of LOTC and how its plugins work, and then Telenir's kind of the covers everything else that Tythus and Lear don't. But the main problem with those three, love them three personally, but they're just not around and not like directly directing that vision. We have these other admins that shuffle in and out every couple months that that change
and that's the
things.
problem is that you don't have one person that is the end all in
Like
terms
what you
of
were
yes
saying
or
earlier.
no.
Yeah.
Right, you need somebody that's the yes or no. Everything does. Every conglomerate, every corporation, every group, every creation of anything, for the most part, I mean, people do it. Don't get me wrong, people do it. But if you want to have something that has, you know, that specific vision, it always has to have that one guy who, even if it's his only job to say yes or no, so be it. It might even be better that way. Kind of how Tythus is better off just being away from it all and dealing with the money and the logistics and
Mhm.
not getting emotionally connected to all the other happenings.
Right.
So because he's removed, it might be nice, but there needs to be somebody that he can trust, that Telenir can trust. And that's the problem too, is that when you have each of these people, and my big problem when I owned the server was I didn't know how to code. I didn't know web stuff. So I still relied on Tithus and Telenir or whoever was coding at the
Mhm.
time
when I
a
first
lot,
learned
Mhm.
how
too
to
much.
hack.
And so much so that I got frustrated and left, because I can't give the people what they want if I don't have the say to do so. Because even if I said this is what I want, this is what I want,
You
you know,
still
if you're
have
the
to rely on someone else to
if you're
code
the
it.
coder, you know, you at the end of the day you're writing the code.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so no matter how much I wanted what I wanted or didn't want what they wanted, it oftentimes slipped by. And so it's a little frustrating to make a game like this where you don't have all the tools, and the tools change all the time. You know, the game updates, everything breaks, somebody has to come in and fix it. You can't just put things in there and let
Right.
it go. So until somebody makes a game like Hytale or something, where hopefully it has a lot of the implements that Minecraft has through custom coding,
Mhm.
to give the people the tools that they need to make their own games, then you will see gaming like explode. Because Minecraft started off really strong, right? It made, we have battle royales because of Minecraft. We have so many
Yeah.
things.
Hunger Games back in the day.
Hunger Games movie got turned into a map. The map got turned into BR. We have Fortnite. We have billion-dollar industry because of this.
Mhm.
And so, really, until somebody gives us the tools again in a way that's digestible, who knows, man? Like, what else could have happened if Microsoft and Mojang made it accessible for people to take it to these extremes that they did in the first few years of Minecraft's infancy? But because Microsoft bought the game and made everything their intellectual property, the whole world of private servers in Minecraft just plummeted, completely fell apart. And thus did the growth of gaming, because people used Minecraft to test game rules and implements and ideas because it's cheap, because it's just the Minecraft. You don't need to put money into designers and whatever and coders. You could try it first, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really exciting, man, for somebody to make something else like Minecraft, this kind of game design for dummies. You know what I mean?
Well said. Yeah, we have a system right now where, yeah, it's kind of like how you said, where I think for a lot of decisions on the server's part, we still have administrators that overview and are in charge of specific aspects, like the community administrator, the story administrator, so on. But there's still a lot of, like you said, I don't think there's just this aspect of having one person who's has a vision for the server that can follow through. But yeah, and that's something that there's been a lot of discussion and things about. But okay, let's see if now I'm kind of back in time as far as comments, because I'm only hitting one question at a time. So I'm now passing through all the comments of people losing their minds over the fact that you met Notch very briefly.
Oh yeah.
And then let's see. And then Millie Muse says, Shift is basically my father.
I'd love to hear it. Apparently my character is the father to many as well.
Mm-hmm.
I got involved. Somebody invited me to the Elven Tree of Life. They're trying to figure out the Elven ancestries.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 20 players who list my character as their dad. Which, as far as I know, he never got laid, so. He
but in lore, he did, I guess.
Never know.
Wow.
Very funny.
All right. Let's see. All right, we'll do probably. Let me see how many more there are. Okay, I don't think there'd be two more. So, too many more. I mean, Millie Muse says, "What tips do you have for new players in establishing an identity and familiarizing yourself with the etiquette of being, well, in this case specifically, a high elf? You don't know, like you said, too much about being a high elf. I don't know why people are asking you about high elves. He was a wood elf, y'all. But
I was a wood elf. But no, for new players establishing an identity, I think that's the question I can answer on. I think it's just doing what other people aren't willing to do, which is giving other people like quests, or just making it exciting for the other player. Worry about yourself later, make
Wow.
it exciting for others, and they're gonna immediately latch on to you because they realize that you have this willingness to lose and or make it more fun for others. And then basically it's telling them, hey, you can play with me, I share. You know what I mean? It's like, just worry about making things fun for other people, and the rest will just kind of fall into place.
Amazing. All right. I think we're going.
We got a big question
Okay.
from TG.
Yeah, just scroll down to that. Let's see. All right, so how seriously should staff take this server, and how much should we really want growth? I personally feel like the road to 500 online players will never be reached if we keep a volunteer-only system. It'd take people who do this as a full-time job. Investing actual money feels like opening one hell of a door, though. It's a great question.
Yeah, it's so hard. I think this server could absolutely get huge, like twice as many players online, or 500 players, however many players you want online. And I think it could be done without spending real money either. And the problem with spending real money through Minecraft is just that we don't have that many things to give people. Like I said before, Microsoft, they own the intellectual property. Anything in the game, we can't sell you. We can't sell you land. We can't sell you blocks. Anything. You can't even sell virtual land. That's why we had to stop doing it.
Well, so something, just to interject, an idea of how we've thought about doing it is just like a Patreon kind of thing, where it's still donation based and people don't necessarily expect anything in game. But an idea that people had was like, we've had a big problem with chunks the server root being really, really laggy, even though we only have about like 200 people on average, right? And we don't know how expensive a server upgrade is, or if a server upgrade will even fix the problem, or even what the problem is. And so people are left like, well, wait, people donate all the time, where we know, as far as we're aware, that the money is just stored in a separate account and is basically never touched except to keep the server going. And so some people are like, why don't we try to spend some of the donated money that people just donated for, like VIP perks and stuff like that. But anyway.
Yeah, so a lot of it has to do with the size of the world and how many entities are in the map, and there's so many variables in terms of trying to get the lag down, and that's such a big problem with the game itself. What you would have to do is make a certain amount of regions, or even every biome, its own server. So when you, almost like on a MMO where you go into zones, all those zones are their own server, their own box, so that the whole world isn't being overloaded. So you would need, depending on the size of the map, you might have 8 small servers, and then every time you pass into a new biome, you zone and you're brought into that other server, and that would help the lag tremendously. Obviously it could be more expensive
to start that many servers, but
to have more boxes, but they could be spending a ton of money right now. When I was owning a server, it was $1,200, $1,400 a month for just the box, not including any other expenditures.
Seems about right.
So I would split up the world into zones, if it's possible, to help with the lag, and then then you could definitely get 500, 600 players, 1,000 players if the server was promoted properly. I post on that's a big thing on this server, does not promote itself hardly at all. And
I always put that up to the fact that, again, literally everything that we do is all volunteer based. There are companies that have social media managers and people that come up with marketing,
and even just a really good like, for example, I posted last year one of my Minecraft builds on the Minecraft forums, or sorry, the
Minecraft Reddit.
Minecraft Reddit. It has 15,000 upvotes.
Wow.
It has 200 comments, and it was like on the main page for like 3 days straight. And so if 15,000 people are willing to click an upvote, it was probably seen by 200,000 people. You know?
Yeah, the rule of
And if
10,
that was
10%.
and if that was an LOTC post,
Hmm.
or and this has happened a bunch of times. I have a post here with 2,700, 2,000, you know, and it's not that hard. Or how about this one? It's a post of it's during Athera, and I posted a screenshot from the Dyn map of Athera,
Hmm.
and it got freaking 9,000 upvotes.
Dang.
It was on the main page for a couple days, you know, and everybody was asking, "Whoa, what is this? Is this a roleplay world, a legit Survivor world?" Everybody was interested, you know. It just doesn't take that much effort. It just takes good timing, good delivery, you know,
Hmm.
a little bit of luck,
Yeah, and maybe
and like you
too.
said,
Go
the
ahead.
desire to do so.
Right.
Like, because we're not paying anybody to do it. In order for somebody to want to do something like that, they have to really care, you know,
Hmm.
or be involved in some way. So yeah, I think if this server had an ounce of um, of putting itself out there, you could hit those numbers. But Minecraft is just so taxing that you would have to split up the server into multiple servers to make it run.
Interesting. Okay, well, any of these topics could be topics for discussion for hours and
For
hours. I have many
hours.
thoughts, but why don't we see? I'm gonna move you over here on my computer, so now they don't see you. But I'm gonna adjust that in a moment. Let's see if we can actually hop onto LOTC.
I'm gonna swap really quickly into my maiden dress
Go for
and
it.
wig.
Go for it.
Just kidding.
You're not on the stream cam right now, so do whatever you want.
I just thought it'd be fun if you pulled me back over, and I'm totally in like a woman's, like, you know, period dress. And
You're the one wearing the LOTC thong.
yes, sir. Woo! This took a turn.
It was me.
It was me.
Yeah, that's hella funny. All right, I'm opening Minecraft, and then I moved you over here so that I can have Minecraft full screen, and then I'm gonna have to capture your video over here. So, chat, just chill for a moment, and yeah,
What
go do what you
version?
need to do. I'm on. It should be 1.18.2.
For some reason, that won't work for me when I try to join LTC.
What does it say?
Just not responding, and then let me try.
Okay. Okay.
Because we used to be like 1.16 or something, right?
Yeah, we're up to 1.18 now.
1.18.2.
All right.
Got a fresh version.
Okay, and then I need to capture you somehow. Let me see if I can do that.
You're gonna have to use a master ball, bud.
Your catch rate's that low, huh?
Dang.
Dang. All right. Let me add a
Sail to
display.
Avos.
Avos. Sail to Avos.
Logging in, joining world.
Okay, this
Loading
is going to
terrain.
be sketch for a moment. There we go. And then we do this. Uh-huh.
Maybe my character's logged out in a weird place. I don't know.
Yeah, what is it? What's it saying?
It just says loading terrain, but my game says not responding now. Just let it load, maybe. Let it sit for a little bit.
Meanwhile, I've accidentally created infinity on my stream trying to get you into.
Whoa, I love it.
There we go. All right. And perfect. And then we size you down. You're going to be a square shift in a round hole.
Appreciate it.
All right. And then I'll put you down here. There we go. Here, I'm going to just get rid of the frame at this point. I don't know why I have a frame. Let's see. Yeah. I think that's it.
Well,
there we go. Perfect.
Minecraft just says not responding.
Okay. Well, let's troubleshoot. Another thing we could do, worst comes to worst, is I could use Zoom screen share and screen share to you, and then I could fly around. But let's try to get you in. So you're on your Minecraft version is 1.18. Because every time, you know how you have to go to the Minecraft launcher and then you load uh, a new installation, right?
Yes. Yeah, I made a brand new 1.18.2.
Okay. Hmm. I don't know what that would be then.
Yeah, I don't know. Java edition, right?
Try,
Or
yep. Yeah, try loading up a local world. Like,
yeah, let me try a single player.
yeah. Do, 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 do. Or, oh yeah, someone says check the IP. Although, no, I mean, Shift said sail to Avos, which is the tagline when you have the IP typed in correctly. So,
Yeah. I always have
um,
trouble logging on this server. That's why I
yeah.
just gave up,
And
man. God.
someone said you were logged in earlier for a solid 2 to 3 minutes. Is that true? You're able to
Earlier
get in
today?
there? Yeah.
Huh. I must have been logged in, but my game didn't recognize. Like
Oh,
it'll let me check. Let me jump in on the single player world real quick.
sounds good. All right, chat. How we doing? What do we think? Very. I feel like we need to do another one of these at some point. There's just so much more information. We
It's a deep dive.
Yeah, as with anything, we start a little slow, and then maybe like 40 minutes in, there were just some truth bombs and some great questions and some stories that were coming out too. Um, let's see here.
We dropped the truth bombs.
We did. Yeah, I never knew that Shift. You have the. You just sometimes you're like it's the way it is, man. Like you, I don't want to say it's like snarky, but in a good way. Like, all
Yeah, it's
right,
just like
you know.
yeah. At just a certain point of my life, I realized that
Uh-huh.
there has to be some definites.
Mm-hmm.
Some paintings are bad, right? Some shoes are ugly.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, Crocs. You know, like not
Amazing.
everything can be okay.
Some things have to not be okay.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's crazy. So I can't even join a single player world. So something's going on.
Dang. Okay, I'm gonna try to stream it to you then.
Yeah,
My
let's do
my
it.
poor computer is gonna have a wonderful time doing this, but it should work. All right, give me a second here.
No problem.
And we'll just kind of hop around on some maps for like, at least 10 minutes or so, and then we'll go from there, and that'll be it. All right, share screen. Desktop 1, that should be great. That should be fine. I won't share sound. Optimize for video clip.
Krevel said it best. He said, there has to be ugly for there to be beautiful.
Exactly. Okay, it got rid of you, so I have to change that now. Okay, hold on. You'll be able to see this. There we go. And then we do that.
I can see your bank statement perfectly.
Perfect. 0.0000. All right, I think I fixed it too. Bang, nothing changed. All right, and you can see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Here we go. We're here in the world. I'm going to put on some background music of some sort. Wonderful. So this is the current map. The Iron Horde, Rexdom of the Orcs.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, this is where your character's logged out. Okay.
Yeah. But let's head over to the museum. Have you worked on the roads for this map? So I'm assuming you've seen like the Cloud Temple and like at least some things from this map, right?
I don't know. I think I've seen the Cloud Temple a little bit. I didn't physically work on the roads. I just helped plan them.
I see.
From the map from above.
Let's see. Am I facing the right direction? I don't know. It doesn't even matter.
Fun fact: museum is the hardest word for me to spell. For me to spell specifically, it just gets me every time. Like, is this right? I always ask myself, is this right?
Yeah. Here, hold on. I'm gonna adjust it to see. I have a stream deck here, and let's see. I'm gonna turn down the sound that I put up here just a little bit. Okay, great. That should be better. Nope, not that. Okay, there we go. Yes, wonderful. Okay. Back in Minecraft. All right, here we are.
So they built like a museum?
Yeah. Wait, so you haven't... When's the last time you saw the old maps?
Oh, that's right. It's like a server with all the old maps, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have some of them saved on my computer, but I don't think I really visited them on this server. No. I have Aegis and Azalon and Anthos and Ethera.
All right, so here it is, and so
Yeah,
as you
it's got
said,
the Alras refugee camp on the left there.
yeah.
That's where once Alras got burned down by the undead, they moved over here.
Oh
A little
wow.
refugee camp.
And then, oh yeah, this is the portal to the Fringe, huh? Or to the Verge. Yes, sorry, it's mixing up my temp maps.
There's a lot to consider.
Oh, I don't remember. This must be a newer version since I played, because I mean, I guess here's the front of Laurelin. You might be a little sad to see this is the version where the maze is burned down.
But oh yeah, that's right.
There you go. Here we are.
Yes, my fabled city.
Yep.
I placed so many blocks. I was a stickler about how the homes looked because they had to have the leaf rooftops and stuff, and players couldn't place leaf blocks back then. So I hand built most of the pretty much 90% of the homes in this city.
Wow.
And there's at least 350 homes in Laurelin proper.
Amazing. Is there anywhere you want me to go?
If you fly up and into that where those burning trees are, down inside there might still be the original portal that the players took to get into.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the portal the players entered at the end of Aegis to recover the fabled axe of Krug in order to destroy the Nexus within the Nether and implode the Nether.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was also like my big role in the server, aside from building the maps, was trying to keeping the lore concise and on track. So.
Do you have how about we visit your house here and then maybe we'll fly around other parts of Aegis real quick?
I'm not even sure. Go up. Yeah, and then over straight ahead to where you see the treetop cities. Yep, to your right.
My right.
That's the Druid. That's the original city there. There you go.
Okay.
So you want to fly down to the front gates
of this area here?
Yeah, just go straight down to the floor. And then turn around behind you. Oh. Yeah, right there on your left is my booth. Right behind you is the booth that people
Hey, look at that.
Natives wears. Is this natives wears? There we go, baby. That's been there since 2011, just about. I stood behind that counter for hours as hordes of players lined up in single file and traded me their goods for Mina.
Wow.
Before Mina was obtainable.
Just in 2 chests.
You know, we made miracles happen back then.
We can't open them on this version, but I think in the original they might still have the items.
Maybe. I don't know if I have a home here, but this is the original build. If you're looking here where the spiral staircase and everything, this is the build that I was building and posting on the Minecraft forums when Availer found me. So it was just this treetop city. And in the center is a big tree, the mother tree.
Yeah.
And in the lore, that's where the first druid put down a seed that grew the mother tree.
Yeah. So there's a blood trail here. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, it got pretty brutal towards the end of Aegis.
Yeah.
Somebody made it their home too, you jerk.
Yeah. So wait, this is like a druid tree.
It's it I guess somebody turned it into a house. I don't know, but it was very ritualistic kind of place. Yeah, Edward with that. If you go down there, it might be there we go. There's like an altar, a stone altar with some water. I put those down there.
Library.
Yep, still a library down there and everything, I think. Probably no books though. Cool thing, back in the day we used Bookworm, you know, for players to use books and write in books, and you could put them in bookshelves and stuff.
Yep.
And I'm sure you already know this, but anybody watching, after Aegis, there was a save file of all 8,000 something books that were ever written in Aegis, and I have that on my computer if anybody wants it. It's actually on. If you go to the LOTC forums and go to my forum account and look through my status updates, there's a link to that zip folder of all 8,000 books written back then. So
No way. I want to read
it's pretty-
those.
it's hilarious, dude. There's some really not safe for work ones, and there's some really just funny ones, and
Dang.
yeah.
All right, that's good. Cool to know. All right. Anywhere else in Laurelin you wanna stop by?
You can go to the docks. So turn left,
Okay.
and then fly that way. Yep. You'll see another big tree. That's the other big tree I built. This is before any
This
other
one?
players were kind of on the map. Yeah, this was like the Laurelin docks. If you look down there next to the tree, there's like this white area, not the snow, but that whatever that stone is. Somebody got married there. They built that
let's see.
just for a marriage.
This?
Yeah, that stone, whatever that is.
Wow.
Yeah, this was like some wedding. I forget who got married
I
there.
don't know
but-
why that says that. Stripped down and defiled, may Laurelin
Oh.
meet this. Oh, this is a message from the undead, I bet, or something.
Yeah, that's probably
Huh.
true. Yeah. Other than that, you could go to the temple,
Mm-hmm.
back to the Aegis temple, I think.
Okay.
'Cause my city's just huge. It's just ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
just a bunch of houses with green roofs. And then
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Millie Muse just said in chat, no metagaming, but they're in-game books technically, right? You could say, I read the ancient transcripts.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So there's the original temple is built by Tithus. Actually,
Mhm.
he is the one to hold the sandstone temple. You know, he takes credit for that. So thank you, Tithus,
hmm
Lord of the Temples.
Lord of the Temples. I'm gonna adjust something on with the camera here real quick. There we go. All right. Okay. Anywhere else in Aegis that you wanna
Yeah,
visit?
if you want to fly down the King's Road real quick,
Mm-hmm.
just take a tour all the way down. On the right-hand side, you have what capital?
Orcs.
Right here. See those two buildings, the blue and the red roof?
Yep. Those are.
Those are made by a Veiler, and probably the only thing built on all of LGC made by a Veiler.
Wow.
These are the towers of Angle
Aemon
and
and
Damon.
Damon. Yeah, Angle and
Yeah.
Damon.
Yeah.
Oh, Aemon and Damon.
Weird. We got some spelling errors, or maybe this is still so new that we're just figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those were built by him, and they still stood the whole time throughout the server.
Yeah.
Just these odd, like, I don't even know what to call it. Just something standing
Landmarks,
out there.
points of
Landmark,
interest.
yeah, exactly.
The dungeon,
But yeah.
apparently.
I got to build the King's Road, so the King's Road was my.
Wait, you
design.
literally built the King's Road?
I literally built the King's Road. I joined the server, put down my Elven city, and then I was like, well, we need to meet all the cities up together, and I want to build that iconic stone road that you see
Wow. It's something that
all the way to Alcazar.
that I've thought my philosophy on roads. I think roads are so, I mean, you'd agree, roads are so important to a map. And
Huge.
I've always preferred maps where you have the Cloud Temple kind of at one end and then one long road that then branches off. And I always also liked that most people, but I feel like the largest nation was the humans. And the largest nation was the last one you could visit. You had to pass by
Right.
literally everything else to get to the most populated place. And
Yeah.
we have had a lot of maps since then that don't share that anymore, where, for example, you have the Cloud Temple in the center, and then when you want to go to your nation, there are, like, think of Azulon, for example, 4 different roads that I always thought that may not have been a good thing because it immediately splits the player base into 4 pieces. Whereas I feel like
Exactly.
Aegis's map design was like everyone starts in one spot and everyone has to rock one road, you know?
Mhm. I was very, very much against the whole spoke wheel design and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
anytime the server was making a new map and I poked my head into the forums and I saw they were thinking about making a spoke wheel or something, you can pretty much go and see. I almost always commented on it and said, "No, don't stop what you're doing. Don't do it. You're just dividing your players." In roleplay, in a role-playing game, the whole thing is about interaction, right?
Yeah.
You we're only here because you interact with other people. That's what makes role-playing RP. So not seeing as many people is a huge detriment to your RP, even if they're just passing by. You want the world to feel alive, right? So yes, 100%, you're so right. You need to have one exit from the Cloud Temple and just kind of funnel it down. The more reasons you get people to split up, the worse it's going to be. It happens every time. So bad.
Yep.
And then that's like the golden thing, or like the hardest thing to tackle in these games, these servers, is the distribution of players, because everybody wants to make their own settlement.
Of course.
Everybody wants to be the king and stuff, and you want to give them the right to, because why not? Why shouldn't you try to make something? Maybe it'll fizzle out the other guy or whatever. So yeah, it's always been a battle on this server, dealing with population. Even in Aegis, people were complaining about ghost towns.
Yeah.
Every single map, ghost towns. Where's the RP?
Mm-hmm.
At least in Aegis, the road was,
one road,
linear enough to where you would find somebody running up and down that thing. And we tried to redo that in Athera. And Athera was a much smaller map.
Right.
You could visit and you could visit all the kingdoms. You could sprint down the road and visit every single nation in less than 10 minutes.
Yep.
From start to finish.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, and in some ways it was kind of tone deaf, because so many of the players did enjoy that big epic battles, 200 versus 200 battles, and it was hard to do on this map. You're on Athera right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a one road, and if you're leaving the Dwarven city and you're getting on the road, and oh crap, you're suddenly in the middle of a battle of 200 players.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let me show you something here.
Yeah, please.
Heading into Urguan real quick.
That's why I added on this map. It had such a big arena right out the get-go, because the idea was that because the settlements were so close together, the players would instead have smaller skirmishes between their best warriors in that arena, that big public arena that's in between all the nations.
Right.
So instead of having a big 200 versus 200 battle, have a 10 versus 10 with your biggest, strongest dudes. It's the same thing.
Here we go.
we got the ass. Wow. I like how you just knew this was here, and you just came all the way here.
Just wait. I mean, I visited each of. Yes.
How'd you know I was an ass man?
Yo. Yeah, there's an entire room filled with it.
Well, I mean, they didn't really. Not too many people played Dwarven females, so.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, all right. So on any of the other maps, I guess as we finish up, we haven't visited Azulon or Anthos or Thera yet. I mean, are there any builds, any spots, any locations you want to reminisce on, want to see? What do you think?
Yeah, I really liked. I mean, the human city in this map is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of just the design and everything, it was gorgeous. And I really wish this map worked, because it really did feel alive. Everybody was squished in such a small area that for the first time in years, it felt like a real, moving, breathing place.
It's so strange to hear you say this, because this is a thing that we still argue about to this day, and that I still try to advocate for, and it feels like I'm yelling into a silent room where no one acknowledges that I think that lack of interactivity in map design is a huge problem. And it's not something, it's kind of the thing where on LOTC, when the map makers make the map, we're stuck with that map for the length of a year or more, right? And so it's so important, and I feel like the people that make the map never acknowledge that. But
it's really hard, because so many people want different things, and something has got to give. Either you don't have as much space for big giant battles, or you have too much space and not enough RP. You have to balance the scales, you know what I mean? And for me, it's an RP server, so at the top of the list it should be you need to see as many people as possible because you want your world to feel alive. I want to come to the human city and just see 200 people running around in here alone, just that, and this city would look and feel like a real city. But when you come to these places, you see maybe 30 people, and at the nation capital, and so it's just people want more than the server can give, and at some point you need to reel yourself back in, and nobody else is going to reel you in, but you got to tell yourself that I can take less so that I can get more. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's crazy, dude.
Amazing.
You have to be willing to, settle for maybe a smaller map or closer together capitals or something in order for it to work, because like you said, everybody's always arguing about it. It's been a problem since the start of the server, and you just can't have everything. You can't have a map big enough for big wars, but also enough players to RP. Unless you do a crazy campaigning of putting the server out there and making every biome its own zone, and then getting, in order for Athera to feel truly alive, you need like 600 players, and that's this small map.
Yeah.
If you want one of the maps you're on now to feel alive, you have like 1,200 people.
Yep.
Online,
and we have
for that
200.
to feel like a believable scenario.
Right.
It's just not enough. People want too big of cities. They want too grandiose of structures and too much area in between them. At some point, you got to realize, like, if we want this to work, we gotta, make some cuts. I don't know.
Yep.
New players aren't staying in the rate that you would want them,
because of
the
all
server
these problems.
Yeah. If people were staying as much as they're joining, the server would be huge.
Yeah.
Be huge. How many players are registered on the forums? 100,000? That is monumental. You got 100,000 people to go check their goddamn email.
Yeah.
So if you can do that,
I know.
The rest of it is like on you, and that's it.
Yep.
And by you, I mean the server, of course.
I am the server.
He is the server. So I forgot who made this spawn, but they did an absolutely amazing job. I think it was Tiger Gamer.
Oh yeah.
I think Tiger Gamer built this.
I remember that. Yeah, I loved this cloud temple. This area enclosed, amazing. The concept of the 4 roads splitting, terrible in my opinion.
No bueno.
Yeah.
Immediately, you see a fourth of the people you normally would.
Exactly, man. It's so surreal hearing you say this. Another thing too, I know
I feel so validated.
I do. This maybe one of the last things we can talk about, and then we'll wrap up because I know we're on time. But the concept that unlike other games, like if I like Apex Legends, if I like Minecraft, if I like Fortnite, if I like EverQuest, there are people in real life that I can go meet or talk to about it, or like Discords or whatever. And I mean, there still is that for LOTC, but my point being, like, this interaction that we're actually having as humans living in the real world, talking about this specific Minecraft server, we're one of the only, like, a handful of people that actually put their face to this community, right?
Yeah.
Most people, I don't want to say hide behind their usernames, because, like, I understand if people want to maintain their privacy and everything, but it's not like you have people out there like every other game that are streaming it, or that are making videos or talking about it, or it's involved in their real life, and they're actually it's something that's surreal that I feel happens every time I stream something, is all the people come in, they're like, oh my god, someone in real life is actually talking about LOTC. This isn't just a little Minecraft block world where I only ever interact with usernames. Like, these are actually real people. So I don't know how you feel about that, and maybe like, does there need to be more people talking about and involving LOTC in their real life and, like, social media? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I could see myself with the future in the game, LOTC again, I would love to come back and do that kind of thing and be. But yeah, I think 100% it is definitely something that needs to be, because a lot of time role players are shy people and are who aren't that outgoing, maybe physically or whatever else. And so I feel like kind of had that disadvantage in that way, that people aren't as, flamboyant, I guess.
Yeah.
And but I think there's plenty of room and reason to get people involved with the game, but yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one.
All right. Well.
No, but I feel like what you do is super integral though, because like you said, not many people do it, and you do it in a really charismatic way. Mostly just like, how you present yourself. You're true to yourself. You're not like uptight about anything or weird about anything. You seem very personable, and I think that that LOTC owes a lot to you for that, because you have been around for a long time and you have been promoting the server consistently. I think a big thing with you personally is your consistency. You haven't given up.
I would say so. I haven't given up. My long-term consistency, yes. Short-term, terrible. but yeah.
It's tough.
Okay, well, any last places you wanna, I feel like I definitely want to chat again sometime, whether it's on or off stream and everything. I'm so like the knowledge and the information and all the secrets and stuff that I just never knew. It's a lot of it too is, you don't know what you don't know too, but
yeah, there's a lot, and I might not even remember unless we talk about this
exactly.
the right scenario. So
yeah,
dude, I had a lot of fun. I would definitely be down to do it again and just kind of hang out and promote this idea of
yes,
making our own worlds and role playing in them. How cool, how lucky we are to have this Lego universe.
I know, with horses.
Really wait, is that the OG horses before Minecraft horses? Look to the right.
To
over
the
there.
right?
See, like, the blocks over there. See the blocks over there?
Oh.
Those are Minecraft. Wait, are they Minecraft? I can barely see.
No, these are carriages. Sorry.
To your left.
My left. Oh, yeah, these are. Yeah.
yeah. Those, I'm pretty sure I built those.
Oh my god.
First of all, and this was before Minecraft had horses, so we had to make horses out of blocks.
What? Yeah, no, I know. It's something I just realized too, is the juxtaposition of this, because I think because this is a legacy museum server, but it's running the current version, it's automatically spawning modern day horses next to the old. That's so poignant.
Those were like fast travel ones. You would right click and it would travel you places.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
That's funny.
No, I think it's been really fun.
All right.
There's so much to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, this server is still growing. Like, in terms of, it's been around a long time, but people are still trying to figure it out. And I think that's why you could still consider it as a work in progress, is that what we're making is like nobody would dare to do. And so it's really noble that people have for so long tried to maintain this place where you're able to make a difference. And people toad around that in so many games. Oh, make your own story. You too can make an impact and make a difference. And early on, when we were saying that stuff, it did sound cheesy, and I didn't really know the extent of how much a player could make a difference, and I hoped they could. But in actuality, people do stuff that we've all remembered for 10 years. These tiny things, like a bandit that just made a name for himself because he kept killing everybody and being stuff like that. People still remember that. So, I mean, if you want to be known, you can do it on this server. And either if that's in game or through your efforts otherwise, this game has made ways for people to learn to do web stuff, coding, animation, art, moderation, game design. So many people who weren't strictly like affiliated with the administration or GMs, for example, were still able to grow and find ways to grow in other outlets and other mediums through LOTC. Even get married. I know.
It's crazy. I still pit LOTC as being the reason why, why my writing is as good as it is, and then ended up getting my English degree, and then one of my main jobs right now is running D&D professionally. So like
That is so cool.
when corporations have like team building money, they'll hire me and I'll run D&D for them,
Wow.
either virtually or through Zoom or whatever, or in person sometimes. But okay,
That's awesome.
let me stop the share. That's gonna mess this up real quick. Okay, perfect. And then let's see, that's the original screen. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this over here. I'm gonna put this back here, and then put this there as we finish up. Nope, that's the wrong screen. This one over here. There we go. And let me size you correctly ish. There you go. All right. Well, that's that. Thank you so much for your time. You're amazing. You're awesome. I know we're both grandfathers of the server.
I do have some gray hairs in the beard.
I do.
actually.
I have. These are gray hairs. Me
Man,
too.
getting old, brother.
We're getting old. Yeah. But
Not a lot of fun.
yeah, no, this is great. It's always, every time I actually talk with people about LOTC rather than, I think this is an aspect of the game that's always been missing is actually interacting with the players that play it rather than all the usernames and Discord memes and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, great talking to you. Anything that you would like to promote?
No, I don't have any promotions right now. Maybe when I write my book, I'll get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm. Or do your Treant cosplay thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be great.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm sure this won't be the last conversation we'll have. Chat, give some love to Shiftnative here, veteran of the server.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And amazing armor as well. Good luck doffing that. And
Appreciate it. I'll see y'all again soon.
yeah. All right. Cheers. That'll be it. I'll talk to you later. Bye. All right. That's it. So thank you guys. I keep looking over here because this is where my camera usually is. So let me do that. All right. Wonderful. Yep. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's always refreshing. I mean, what a person to talk to as far as the server's history and just also him personally is so amazing. But I don't know, just talking with people about LOTC, it doesn't really happen. I mean, it does, but not in this way, Yeah, he was a vibe. I never knew how much of a vibe Shiftnative was. I mean, we all knew, but it's another thing actually like talking to him. Pretty cool. Yes, yeah, very much. So that's that. I'm going to. I help with my alma mater's D&D club, our tabletop club. A bunch of high schoolers. I go in and volunteer and help them run the club and introduce kids to RPGs and stuff. I want to shout out this actually. That's about it. I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna edit this. There won't be much editing to do, I guess, just trimming this part in the beginning, and put this up on my YouTube channel, which I think I have its links to. Yep, I made a channel just for LOTC stuff, which Shift, if you're still in the chat, and anyone else, my interview with Tythus is up there too, on that YouTube channel, so give that a listen to, if you want. And yeah, and oh my god, so many clippable moments today. Some of the stuff that Shift was saying, like, talk about truth bombs. And again, so validating talking with someone who shares the same stuff, the same beliefs, a lot of the same beliefs about stuff. Yeah, maybe I might remember to leave just this part in for you, TG. The thong clip, yes. I want everyone to see that with no context. That's amazing. Just to know. I really want to know where that is. I want to know who has that. There is exactly one, and you know what? I don't see any other reason why there would be any. Who else would have an LOTC shirt other than Shift and whoever got them? But not admin signed. But Like, imagine that. There is literally no way there's another LOTC thong out there other than that one, unless I make one somehow. But anyway, that point being, there is literally one person in the entire world who has an official LOTC thong. That's crazy. Oh my god. Wow. Yeah. I feel like there's just little nuggets of info, like Shift was saying, he might not even remember unless it comes up. I'm just, man, that's crazy. And the whole Minecon story, I had no idea. I don't think they do Minecon anymore. Do they? I mean, it hasn't been posted around. And to think too that he, that brief interaction with Notch and Jeb, and them kind of not really being very personable in that interaction, kind of makes sense to me. And then also too, makes sense how they inevitably also, moved on, and how Minecraft is like more of a team that makes it now, What is the admins like? What do you mean, Aegon Targaryen? Aegon, you're from the wrong universe. This is an LOTC stream. I'm just kidding. If I had my pick, who would I chat with next? Pugsy. 100%. Although, realistically, who am I going to chat with next? Probably the next best person to chat with is okay. You guys are gonna get the scoop here as I finish this up. We're all aware of Pugsy, right? Who's one of the most famous players on the server, infamous, I should say, for no RP killing a whole bunch of people like 10 plus years ago, right? To now the point where his name has become a verb on the server, where you can, you Pugsy someone, well, yeah, I was about to describe the verb by using the verb. Like, that's how, how ingrained it is. So, I have been trying to track down Pugsy for years to talk to him, and no one has his information anymore. Some people know some people who know some people who might have information. Yeah, it was a person. So before that, like Shift was saying, no RP killing was just a thing that happened. But one person whose Minecraft name was Pugsy, one day murdered an entire town with no RP and got banned because of it. And that event was so, like, big that to Pugsy something became a thing. And also Pugsy had a really outlandish personality. Like, he was memeing back before memes were even a thing, kind of, if you ever hear the phrase on LOTC, walk the dinosaur, that was Pugsy. That was just a thing he said. I'm gonna go walk my dinosaur. And so other people picked it up. Anyway, I actually roleplayed. Pugsy was one of my, when the undead were first created, Pugsy, myself, and another player named Simon Bane were all trying to join the undead. And so we formed a cult. And so before Pugsied, I was one of the main players. Like, I was his friend. Like, I was one of the main players that RP'd with him. And another person by the name of Cillian L is the person that invited Pugsy to the server. And I met Cillian a couple weeks ago. We didn't realize that we had actually RP'd together when we were 13 years old back in Aegis, me and this guy Cillian. And then I did some research and found out that Cillian was the person who recommended Pugsy to LOTC. And I chatted with Cillian, I talked with him, and he ran this game for me, which is super cool. It's called Cyberpunk Augmented. Highly recommend. I'm gonna run this for my students today. But anyway, he's who I'm gonna talk to next, because he's another veteran player from back in Aegis and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna bring him on. He hasn't seen the server in years, and now it's just strange. Those of us who are kind of in our 20s that grew up playing LOTC, how we've all moved on to creative fields. Like, I met him at a tabletop convention that we both just already happened to be going to. Like, we've already just gotten involved in tabletop stuff. And so it's just so weird. Imagine meeting someone who also plays LOTC in real life. I mean, I think Anime Wolf and Beth are lucky that they are twins that moderate for my stream, but they also both play LOTC. So it's like, that's what talking with Shift and and these other people make me think is like I was saying, I wish LOTC was more mainstream to the point where people like, you know, do it. Oh yeah, I'm sure Anime Wolf, if I found a way to do it right, I could, and if I like framed the story in the right way, the internet at large would help me find this guy. But TG says, let's make our own IRL settlement, LOTCers only. Oh my god. Thank you so much, Aegon. Yeah, we should have an LOTC con. I've thought about it. So many of you are from overseas though. From the US, I mean, you know, I don't know where we'd do it. But anyway. All right, y'all. Well, that was great. Shift is awesome. You just, oh my god. Hi, welcome in, Aegon. Welcome to a very, very long history. This server's been up for 10 plus years, so yeah, it's great. Okay, great. Thanks, y'all. Who might I be on the Discord? Here's my Discord for my community, but then you'll find me in there. My Discord username is Zach Clay. It's the same as my Twitch. Oh wow, you guys are new. Okay, well, cool. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, in that case, I mean, I expected our audience to be people that have been playing for a few years, but essentially, I guess to explain, you know, this server's been up for 10 plus years, and Shift was like one of the first people to, well, as he explained, he owned the server back in the day. So anyway, yeah, doing a new player, yeah, you should do it. I think the more people that stream LOTC and talk about it and do it, the better, you know. You want to be a part of the community so bad? I mean, aren't you already, Millie? Nice. Yeah, it's cool that we got a lot of you new bloods in here. Because of metagaming? Right. That's true. When I stream LOTC, I don't RP for the most part. I broadcast other people's roleplay and voice it. But yeah. Anyway, all right, great. Thanks, y'all. I gotta get going, and yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna be doing some World of Warcraft stuff soon, I think. But yeah, Aegon, you joined what, yesterday? And you said there's LOC drama that you've already been involved in. Hey, Ibrahim, nice to see you too. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get going. This will be up on YouTube later, and if you want to know when I'm doing streams and stuff, that's where my Discord is, where I post stuff. I'm very inconsistent. I'm consistent in the long term. I will always care and have a soft spot in my heart for LOTC, but short term, too many things come up. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna send you guys out with my usual ending of stream music. Give it a good old listen, and have a wonderful day. Have some great RP, and yeah. Yes, it was a good stream. Of course, Aegon. Anything for you. Oh wait, hold on. I keep forgetting. My ending screen has music that plays. Let me do that first, and then I'll play you guys out. Okay. Goodbye for real, and then listen to the song, because it's not a parody, a cover of the song from Portal. So yeah, all right, see you guys, bye.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. for the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake, and the science gets done, and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry, I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me, tore me to pieces, and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. Now these points of data make a beautiful line, and we're out of beta, we're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned to think of all the things we've learned for the people who are still alive. Look at me still talking when there's science to do. When I look out there, it makes me glad I'm not you. I've experiments to run, there is research to be done on the people who are still alive. And believe me, I am still alive. And while you're dying, I'll be still alive. I feel fantastic and I'm still alive. And when you're dead, I will be still alive. Still alive. Still alive. I'm still alive, baby.